Hey, Shalom. All praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash. That's the name of the Heavenly Father and His Son in the Holy Tongue, Rachak Wadash. All right. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, as well as the elder bishops, the elders who rule well. Peace and blessings to you, fellow brothers, pushing His word in truth and sincerity. Shbach coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rachak Wadash. Also a shalom to the Lord's elect, the men and the women that are listening, tuning in to the truth here at Great Millstone, which we preach, we prophesy, we let you know what's getting ready to happen before it happens, okay? The prophets. All right, this is going to be an in-transit lesson. Maybe various topics, a couple of things we'll speak about, a couple of things we'll bring up. It shouldn't be long. We'll see how the spirit move. The first thing I want to get into is the thing with the issue with Mexico and how there was, there's chaos in Mexico with one of the cartel head leaders dying through a military operation by the Mexican government. But if you're tuning in, it was really led by the U.S. Backed, U.S.-led intelligence agency. All right, there's a task force. I was going to do a video on it the other day, but there's so many things happening. I went live with the brothers in Toronto. I left Toronto. I'm on the road actually to go to Connecticut for a moment. So I wanted to do the sit down, but so I'm just going to speak on it. And basically, it's a particular interagency task force to counter cartel. Let me Google that. I'm not going to do too much looking up because I'm driving. But it's an interagency task force counter cartel. Now, if you were tuned in, and we spoke about this, many times from all the apostles, elder bishops, brothers, okay, the prophets. We spoke about how it brought up, different news and prophecies with tying things in from the news to the things that are happening. How Trump, he's been speaking about what his borders are. I forgot the guy's name, real devil. How they wanted to do strikes in Mexico, and how they labeled the Mexican cartels, the cartels in general, as narco-terrorists. So now they're a terrorist organization. Now they can do special military operations because they have been deemed a terrorist group. So the chaos that's going on in Mexico, that's fomented, okay, by the U.S. government. Okay, they're the ones that really set up the cartels. They're the ones that are in charge of the cartels. And if they get too big for or whatever reason they have it, they'll take them out. Okay, and they'll use the Mexican government, which is nothing but a puppet government. All right, and the Mexican president is a small hat woman. All right, so we know that this devil, he needs chaos. All right, to implement, to bring the whole world, okay, especially Babylon the Great, into the NWO, man. Okay, so that task force is called the Joint Interagency Task Force Counter Cartel, the JIATF-CC. Okay, let's click this and let's read a little bit here. While you Israelites are singing and dancing, there's a video of Captain Tazariak debating with a pastor, a bishop. I think they call him a bishop. They're still debating. We're prophesying. We're not here for debate. Okay, we're telling you what it is. If you can't accept it, that's your fault. Okay, so this is from Northcom.mil. Okay, The Joint Interagency Task Force Counter Cartel established. It says the Department of War. Okay, remember that. We're in the time of war. All right, so a new war front is opening up. I spoke about this many times. The brothers spoke about this many times. Okay, they already bombed Venezuela, and they're going to continue to have issues with Central and South America. All right, through the Monroe Doctrine, meaning they believe that, all right, the Western Hemisphere, Esau, Edom, all right, the so-called Americans, they believe that they're in control of the Western Hemisphere, of all the resources, the peoples. You know, they have the dominance here. So they'll do whatever the hell they want to do. Okay? The Department of War established Joint Interagency Task Force Counter Cartel under U.S. Northern Command. Okay, and I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to read more. You've heard what it is. All right, you've seen what's going on in Mexico. You got a lot of U.S. citizens that are stuck in Mexico because of all that chaos. And what is that chaos going to lead to? Ultimately, the MOTV. Ultimately, digital IDs, digital currencies. Okay, they need to know if you're a terrorist or not. Okay, you need a digital form of identification, whether a digital passport, or digital ID, whatever it may be. Right. This is from Reuters.com. Exclusive new U.S. military-led group aided Mexico hunt for El Mencho, cartel boss. So right there in the title, it tells you that this was a U.S.-led operation to target cartels. And these cartels are nothing but trained CIA black op death squads. All right, because what did they do? They start terrorizing, all right, the Mexican population. They start burning gas stations, torching, department stores, setting up roadblocks, okay, shooting people, shooting citizens, shooting military personnel, shooting police officers. Those are nothing but agents of chaos. And we know chaos is going to bring their order. So let me go 2nd Ezra 2. We brought this out in the live show yesterday. Not 2nd Ezra, but 2nd Corinthians, 2. We can see right through all the lies of Esau, Edom. Okay? 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, at least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at it in a different version. Okay. This is NOT, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. So that Satan would not outsmart us, right? Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, which works through the Edomites, are his counterpart down here on earth, so-called white man, starting with the elites. They have outsmarted pretty much the whole world. Okay, remember, they were given power to deceive the nations, all right, for that short season. Now, yeah, do you have a lot of people that are waking up? Yes. Do you have a lot of people that can see through particular things? Yes. Are things being exposed? Yes. But they can't tie it back to them being the biblical Edomites and biblical prophecy. Now, you have certain people that are trying to do that, but they miss the mark. They fall short because they are not the prophets. Okay, they'll just be, pundits and intellectuals and self-proclaimed historians and, smart guys, podcasters, YouTube, social media influencers, whistleblowers, ex-military, government official, right? So-called, they could bring out particular things. The scriptures say that their own tongue shall fall upon themselves. We understand that. But they're not able to tie it back to tie it back to a spiritual side. They might even say Satan, but they don't know who Satan is. They might say the devil. They don't know who the devil is. They might say evil, but they don't know that there are actual people that are set up to bring evil in the earth. Okay, so it says, so that Satan, which Satan means adversary, will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. This is nothing other than another evil scheme, another ploy to sow chaos, so he can, justify drone strikes in Mexico, in Central and South America. Just wait, just watch. We're gonna keep our eyes posted, but just see, guaranteed they're gonna start to, be more aggressive in Mexico. All right, start actually troops on the ground. All right, drones in the sky, actual drone strikes, missile strikes on key infrastructure in Mexico, destabilize Central and South America. Okay, they'll be able to bring in digital IDs. They'll be able to bring in digital currencies, and then ultimately tracking a device, a C-HIP, a micro C-HIP, a microchip that they want to be implanted in your hand. This is what everything is leading to. All this chaos. Let me go back to this article, just read a little bit more, and then we'll move on. So it says, this February 22nd, story has been correct. Okay, changed. A new U.S. military-led task force specializing in intelligence collection on drug cartels played a role in the Mexican military raid on Sunday. They killed the Mexican drug lord known as El Mencho. A U.S. defense official told Reuters. Okay? So, right then and there, it tells you that Esau Edom's hand is, it's on the, he's caught red-handed. But there's excuse, because the Mexican cartels, they are crazy. They do kill people. They do chop people's heads off. They do murder whole families. They do set people ablaze. They do these things, which our people are wicked. That's why the Lord is going to judge you Israelites. Okay, the Lord is going to judge you Israelites. Nevertheless, Esau Edom is set up to be the accuser. He's here to accuse us. So you have Mexican citizens, so-called Mexican citizens, which are the tribe of Issachar, and Esau lumps all you Latin tribes, whatever you're Venezuelan, Colombian, Puerto Rican. He calls you all the same, right? You're all going to be domestic terrorists. You're all going to be narco terrorists. So now that gives him more excuse to ramp up ICE, to ramp up, identifying, because we need to identify if you are part of these narco terrorists. Okay? I'm gonna Google something. I got another scripture, but I'm gonna Google something. Bear with me. Digital IDs and narco terrorists. I'm just Googling this. See what comes up. All right, we're gonna see what comes up. All right, this AI overview. Digital IDs and the crackdown on narco terrorism are intersecting. See, intersecting. Like you have an intersection where things cross and meet up. Okay, like an X marks the spot, right? You have a line that goes horizontal. You have a line that goes vertical, right? And when those two meet, that's the intersection. Okay. 2025. Let me read that again. Because once you understand the plan, then all the little small pieces make sense. All these so-called isolated instances, like what's going on in Iran. We'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, what's going on in Mexico. All right, what's going on between the right and the left political battle. All right, Greenland, NATO, all these conflicts here. The Epstein files, Once you understand what all this means, a lot of these are distractions. All right, once you understand what the end goal is, then you understand what all these other so-called independent events, what they really mean. Okay, digital IDs and the crackdown on narco-terrorism are intersecting in 2025-2026, primarily through the U.S. government's intensified efforts to block illicit actors from the financial system. See, so it's going to be, these drug cartels, they make billions and billions of dollars through trafficking drugs. First of all, you got to ask, who the hell is buying all these goddamn drugs? Right? You have to ask yourself that question. Who is buying all these drugs? Their biggest customers are Western civilizations. Okay, America, primarily. Who's taking all this goddamn fentanyl? Who's sniffing all this coke? Who's popping all these pills? Who's taking all this heroin? Right? So that just shows you that America is nothing other than drug addicts, and they're just it's supply and demand. Okay. So they're gonna. One of the excuses is they're gonna block. All right, all these cartels from the financial system. So you see how Revelation 13:16 is manifesting right before our eyes. There's many different excuses they're going to use. See, look at all this drug trafficking, human sex trafficking, and weapons trafficking, and all these different things, right? We can stop that through this digital system. Okay, see how everything is making sense. Again, we're not ignorant of Satan's schemes. We won't be fooled by them. Let me just finish this, right? It says, efforts to block illicit actors, like the cartel, from the financial system, and simultaneously roll out of digital identities. See? Mobile driver's licenses, MDLSs, okay? Which those are digital, okay? And in some cases, enhanced surveillance measures. Okay, key aspects of intersection includes sanctioning and identifying drug cartel. That's what that interagency is. Counter cartel. Okay? It says the U.S. Treasury has increasingly designated major drug trafficking organizations, such as the Sinaloa Cartel and Cartels Unidos, which Unidos means united, as both foreign terrorist organizations and special designated global terrorists. So now that these organizations are deemed global terrorists, you can bring special military actions towards them, like the Iraq war, right? Those Iraqis were deemed terrorists. That gave justification for the U.S. military to do strikes in Iraq. Same thing in Afghanistan. Same thing in Syria. And they're doing the same thing with Iran. The second bullet point, right? Targeting financial trails. The Department of Justice is focusing on digital asset enforcement. See, everything's going to be tied to a digital system, a blockchain, if you will, that technology. Well, your house is going to be tied to a digital ledger. Okay, it's not going to be physical documents anymore. All right, how are you going to pay your taxes? Digital. How are you going to buy food? Digital. You want to buy a car? Digital. How are you going to interact with people? Digital. How are you going to pay your friend? Digital. How are you going to buy a pizza? Digital. If they're able to do that, they're able to track every single transaction. Okay, so there's no payments for drugs in cash anymore. You now have to use digital apps. That can completely stop everything. Completely stop everything. It's going to ground operations. And we'll go to Revelation 13 because it says he calls us all. So all these independent events are happening to bring in digital identification, to bring in digital currencies, to give the excuse to usher in these draconian measures. Let me get, we'll go back there. Let me get Revelation 13. Right, Revelation 13. And bear with me. Alright. Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast cometh up out of the earth. That's this power structure that you see now. Alright, headed by America. Alright, and the European allies, as well as the European, or you should say, the European NATO allies like Australia, Canada. Those are nothing other than extensions of the UK, okay, Britain. It says, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. Let's look at different translations. Okay, let's see the NLT. Then I saw another beast come up out of the earth. He had two horns like those of a lamb, but he spake with the voice of a dragon. Now we know that the lamb represents, docile, harmless, the illusion of peace. Right, a lamb is a very gentle animal. So this represents the American government. It portrays itself as a gentle, for the people democratic republic, where the people choose and everybody gets a fair shake. All right, but those two horns represent the two political parties, which you believe that you have a choice. You believe that you have a voice in the matter. Like your vote counts. This is a government for the people. The people go to the voting boxes on voting day, and they vote in their leaders. So it's really the people, the citizens of America, that actually control foreign policy and domestic policy. And no, that's not the case. But it had the illusion like that. Okay. Those two horns, but it's the same lamb. Wherever the lamb goes, the left and the right goes in the same direction. If the lamb want to go right, the left goes with the right. With the right. If the lamb want to go left, the left goes. The right goes with the left. All right, but it spake as a dragon, meaning it's dragon. When you go into that word in the Greek, it's Draco, which goes back to a Athenian lawgiver that was very harsh. His laws were very harsh. Like, for example, if you jaywalked, you get put to death. Okay? If you speed 1 mile over the speed limit, all right, $1,000 fine. All right, and they're gonna have AI. They're gonna have technology to be able to implement these things. They're gonna have AI. They're gonna have technology to be able to trace everybody. Facial recognition. They're rolling out these technologies now. Palantir is part of the U.S. government. OpenAI, Meta. All these technocrats are also branches or subdivisions of the military, because it's modern warfare now. Okay, what do they call it? Was it 6th dimensional warfare, or is it 5th dimensional? I forget. Okay. So two horns like a lamb, but spake as a dragon. And you see You can see how these draconian measures, these austerity measures, are increasing year over year. But see, they need chaos. For example, COVID-19. In order for them to basically force everybody to get it, which they didn't really force nobody, but they set the government up to where if you didn't take it, you pretty much lost everything. You lost your job. You need your job. You lost your ability to go to concerts. You lost your ability to travel. You lost your ability to congregate and go to, you want to go to a restaurant. You can't go to a restaurant. They won't serve you. Okay? You want to go to the hospital, and they were talking about banning people from coming to the hospital if they don't got it. Oh, you weren't able to send your children to school. Maybe you don't want to send your children to school, but you have to because you need to go work. You would love to homeschool them, okay? But you don't have that choice. So what do? Well, you gotta vaccinate your children. So that's how he calls it for everybody. He's not gonna grab you up and actually beat you over the head and put a needle in your body. You're gonna actually have you're gonna make a conscious decision to do it. But you're gonna be, basically, coerced and pretty much forced to do it, and not so many ways. Or when you're not gonna be able to leave your 15-minute city. You're not gonna be able to buy meat. You're not gonna be able to travel to that city. You're not gonna be able to fly on a plane. You're not gonna be able to go to the doctor. You're not gonna be able to do this. You're not, there's gonna be limitations to your participation in society. Okay, let's go back to this AI overview. Okay. The second bullet point again, it says targeting financial trails. So you want to stop human trafficking, right? You want to stop PDF file rings, right? Follow the money. You want to stop drug trafficking, right? These people are evil, right? Well, we are able to do that through a digital ledger system, a blockchain system that AI is governing. Your world leaders, they're a bunch of PDF files, and they drink human blood, and they do all this, they're not there for the people. Well, hey, look, let AI take over. Let AI take over, and AI doesn't need all those things. AI is for you. AI doesn't have sexual intentions. AI is not plotting on children. AI is not doing drugs. AI is not taking bribes, right? So you can see how the people are going to buy into it. A lot of them are going to cry for it. They're already tapped into ChatGPT. The next step is just to put that technology inside you. And a lot of people are going to do it. You're going to see your celebrities do it first. Okay, there's already murmurs of particular celebrities saying they want the Neuralink, like Kim Kardashian, because she suffers from particular, mental disease. You have particular rappers that said it, Targeting financial trails. The Department of Justice is focusing on digital asset enforcement to persecute those who use cryptocurrency and other digital narcotics who use cryptocurrency and other digital tools for narco trafficking, money laundering, and terrorism. So we need this system to stop terrorism. You want to be able to go on a plane and go to a country and enjoy yourself without chaos happening? You want to be able to watch a movie here in America without there being a mass shooting? You want to be able to send your children to school without there being a mass shooting or a predator preying on them? Or your child getting hooked on fentanyl? Well, hey, we have the perfect system for you. Okay, let me bring out another preset. So you can see how everything is intersecting, like the AI said. All these so-called random events, these isolated events that look totally isolated from each other, they all have one purpose, and that's to bring you into the NWO. Okay? And we understand that. We're not ignorant of these things. We won't be deceived by his tactics. We understand his tactics. All right. This is Psalm 64 and 2. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." And that's all that this is. Okay? It's nothing but iniquity working. The workers of iniquity, the wicked elite, the bankers. And you have more people that are starting to come out and speak on the Rothschilds, the Rothschild family. Okay? In the Epstein files, it said that Epstein was an agent of he worked for the Rothschilds. So really in these last days, they're coming out and telling you, hey, this is what it is. And really there's nothing that you can do about it. But see, we understand that this secret council, all right, these devised intents of world domination are destroying pretty much the majority of the population. All right, culling the people, right? We understand that this is all a plan by the Heavenly Father that he gave to Esau through Satan. And we know that it's not going to work. It's going to backfire. Nevertheless, Esau Edom is going to go ahead with the plan because he's being forced into the plan. Okay? Give me a second. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Because you have to ask yourself, has life gotten better or worse? Just in the last 5 years. Well, since 2020. That's 2020, that shit went by fast. When they locked this shit down, and now they're moving closer to their agenda of 2030. Which you have cyber attacks. Oh, you got this thing going on in Iran. We got to speak about Iran. And you have like especially Fox News, which is nothing but a war-mongering news outlet. That's for the Edomite, the red-blooded American Edomite. He got a big-ass flag in his front yard, drinks Bud Light, Coors Light, works at a construction site or a mine, okay? Or does some type of, he was in the military, he does hunting and fishing. They love war. They love killing people, especially when it's it's a darker nation. They'll go to war with each other too. Don't get it twisted. Esau goes to war with himself too. World War I, World War II proved that. The Edomites, they fight against each other. The scriptures say that I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, Isaiah the 19th chapter. And they shall fight everyone against his brother. City against city, kingdom against kingdom. Alright? So Esau is about the sword. That's his blessing. But especially when it comes to the darker nation. So you go and you watch Fox News, and it's like every video is about war. We're going to war. Iran, Oh, war with Venezuela, war with Colombia, war with Mexico. War. Fight. He can't get enough. Let me get, before I'll come back here. Let me get a proverb. What is that? Ecclesiastes? What is that? Proverbs 4. Bear with me. Proverbs 4. The Edomite doesn't know anything else. All he knows is chaos. It's been working for him, for this long. Right? Why stop? You hear this? You've been running the same play. And it's been working every time. Why would you stop? Why would you try to reinvent the wheel? Alright, so the elites do nothing profound. They have the blessing with Satan with them, that's all. Proverbs 4, I think I'll start at 17, or no, you gotta start up. Yeah, 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief. So that's their whole mind. Right now as we speak, they're in a particular secret council plotting on the next move, the next psyop. Best believe that this psyop in Mexico, all right, was prescribed. The same thing going on in Iran. They've been wanting to go in Iran. They had plans. I forget it was an individual tied into the intelligence agency. He was tied into, he was like a high official in the CIA. I forget the guy's name. And he spoke about how, give me a second, I don't want this big ass truck. Slow. He was speaking how there was an American plan. This is prior to 9/11, if I'm not mistaken. This is prior to them going into Afghanistan and Iraq, right? Operation Iraqi Freedom, I believe that's what it's called, or whatever it may be. There was already plans to overthrow 7 governments in 5 years. Now it took longer, but they got Iraq, they got Afghanistan, they got Syria. They finally got Syria. Syria took a while. They got Libya, okay, and you had also Iran. That's like one of the final ones, because all those places had one thing in common: they did not have a Rothschild-backed central bank. So in order for this system to work, you have to have everybody on the same page. All right, which goes to show you that Revelation 13 is on point. When John, he saw that vision and he wrote it down for us. The Most High told him to write it down. All right, for the things that surely are going to come to pass. Now we're living in that short season. We're seeing all these things come to pass. This technology is crazy. So here it is. They want to go into Iran. Why do you keep going to war with people? Because war is in his heart. That's all he knows. He doesn't know anything else. All right, for all you jakes that is trying to save Esau Edom, it's unbelievable. He can drop bombs on people. He can poison their food. He can have a long history of genocide. Okay? He can redline and not allow you to buy particular homes in different areas of the United States, in different cities. He put drug in your neighborhood to break you up. All right? Food deserts. But he gets a pass. Esau gets a pass in the eyes of the so-called black Hispanic Native American. Okay? But the Most High is not going to acquit him. The Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, he does not give Esau Edom a pass. Okay, he's about to get that work. Now, before he finally gets that work, he's about to sow all type of chaos in her. He's just like a spoiled bad child that didn't get his way. So he's just going to just tear up the room. Or, like a breakup, a woman, a man break up with a woman, and she was clearly in the wrong, right? But because she's a demon, a narcissist, a control freak, all right, when the man breaks up with her and tells her to leave, he don't want to fight with her no more. He don't want to argue with her no more, because she gets off on that, right? Just energy harvesting. She gets off on that. You arguing, going back and forth, right? When you're quiet, you don't say nothing. What does she do? She'll start throwing shit. She'll throw the TV, break the TV, bust holes in the wall, break all the glasses, break it, drop your computer down the second floor. That's how they get down. That's Esau in a nutshell. Since he sees that he has but a short time, he's about to wage war with the whole earth. All right, it says for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. So their whole mindset is death. So they'll train paramilitary groups, have them do particular, terroristic, acts to justify them bringing in the U.S. military or the Israeli military. It's the same goddamn tactic. And they'll use it over and over and over and over and over again. They're not going to stop. Even if you found out that they're going to do it, they're not going to stop. It's far too late, man. They're in too deep, like the movie. They're in too deep. It's like you agree to rob the bank with your boys. You didn't really want to do it, and they promised you that they wasn't gonna kill nobody, so it's gonna be an easy lick. They got somebody on the inside. Everything's gonna be fine. They just need somebody. They just need a driver. And he's like, look, you don't even need a gun. You don't even, it's very convincing. The scriptures speak about how, it's in Proverbs. Don't run swiftly to I'll bring it out. I believe it's Proverbs, maybe. I'll bring it out. But basically, they convince you to be the getaway driver. Look, we're not going to shoot anybody. Look, the guns that we have, there's no bullets in it. It's just there to scare. It's an easy lick. You're going to make $25,000, $50,000, whatever it may be, right? You down on your luck. And then you get in there, and they go in there, and they just start shooting and taking people out. You don't know. They get in the car, you drive away. Now you got fucking quadruple homicide, and you thought it was gonna be an easy job. Okay, I believe that's Proverbs. Let me finish this. Okay, Proverbs 4:17. For they eat the bread of violence. They eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. That's their whole mindset is towards death. They have enough resources, and there's enough land on this earth for everybody to win. Literally, everybody to have acres and acres upon land. Everybody. That's how vast this earth is. And Esau has technology to heal people. The grow back bone, all right, the grow back cartilage, all right, you got a tooth knocked out, there's technology to grow that back. There's technology to where you can get 100 gallons on a tank of water, hydro cells. But what did he put all his money into? All right, killing instruments, weapons of war. That's his spirit. He's doing exactly what the Most High created him to do. Okay, and it was manifesting in his blessing. That's an identifier of the biblical Edomites in these last days, is that they will be men of weapons. They will have military dominance over their counterparts. All right, but that's going to be a snare unto Esau. Instead of just taking Jake out and saying, okay, I'm going to take out all the Israelites and I'm just going to enjoy this earth. He needed Jake. Okay? Bear with me. I was going to get that in Proverbs, but I've been, long on the road, and I'm starting to get a little tired. So I'm going to close it there. So until next time, shalom to the light.